What a headshot! What a head!
How's it guys, this is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video, I'll be taking you guys through my team selection for the upcoming Game Week 26. So officially I can say welcome to Wildcard Week. Yes, I've activated the Wildcard chip, or I probably will tonight before this price rises. I'm reminding you guys yet again that the prices in FPL do go up, they do go down, so make sure that you're going to activate it if you want to use the wildcard this week, because I think Ivan Toney's rising tonight. So this video is going to obviously focus around the wildcard draft, the latest draft. Also be giving you guys some insight into how to plan your future game weeks and how my team is going to look for the next couple. Now we will be looking back to double game week / blank game week 25. Boring, I know. We want to get straight into the wildcard stuff, but it's always good to look back on our team and see how we've got on in that game week. So was it a red arrow? Was it a green arrow? I'll be going over all that good stuff and give you guys the latest from what happened last night. Then we're moving into the transfer plan that'll be slightly different to usual. Obviously with the wildcard, I don't really have a kind of transfer plan set out, but I'll be discussing my chip strategy updates as I can basically lock them in right now. Now if you guys are using the wildcard as well, drop your drafts in the comments down below. Let's compare, maybe your draft's better than mine, and then we go with yours. But if you are interested to see what I'm dealing with, sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So going over double / blank game week 25, I'm going to go over this quite quickly because I don't want to focus on that red arrow too much. Let's focus on the green arrows you hopefully will get from the wildcard. But unfortunately it was going to be a red arrow. We took a drop from about 200k to 278k, so quite a significant red to be honest. That was a result of an 82 pointer minus 8 points, as I did take a minus 8 hit and made 4 transfers before the game week 25 deadline. Now we do have one transfer and 1.7 million left in the bank, but that's going to be relevant because we will be on the wildcard. Now starting off on our bench, and nothing's changed from the transfer plan video, so I'll be going through the single gaming players quite quickly. We had Danny Ward who actually outperformed Kepa. We'll bring him up on screen right now, only a 1 pointer, then Greenwood with a 0 pointer, then Rashford and Trippier on our bench. Then in terms of the Man City assets, Nathan Ake for that 6 pointer, he came off before Man City actually conceded against Bournemouth, but Riyad Mahrez came on late into that fixture for only the 1 point. Then finally, Erling Haaland scored the 10 pointer, and after the first games of Game Week 25, a lot of managers were saying we should have captained Erling Haaland, but I don't think you'll regret captaining Salah or Saka right now. So going on to 2 of the transfers we brought in this week, so it's going to be Tarkowski and Mykolenko. Now no, Tarkowski actually did play both games of the double Game Week 25. He just got -1 last night against Arsenal, then obviously Everton conceded more than 1 in the first game. So what a waste of a transfer. I took Luke Shaw out, I brought Tarkowski in, and they matched each other, and Tarkowski had 2 games. Mykolenko was a future move, but now that we are wildcarding, it looks like it was a little bit of a mistake, as I took a -4 to get him over Patterson. But we live and we learn, and we didn't really have the information before the Game Week 25 deadline, so yes, it is how it is sometimes. But going on to probably the stars of our game week, it was going to be the Arsenal triple up. We had Ben White with a 13 pointer, Saka with a 15 pointer, and Odegaard with an 11 pointer. So who said double game weeks are overrated? Obviously they don't own these Arsenal assets, because 3 double-digit hauls is really appreciated. Now yes, I know it's not a Martinelli kind of 22 pointer, whatever ridiculous score he got this game week, but Ben White kind of matching most of the other Arsenal defenders. Odegaard getting us a return finally, but Saka was the one I missed out on because his effective ownership was above 100%, so every point he scored was actually a net negative to myself. So if you guys did captain Saka over someone like a Salah, well done on that one. Massive moves in the ranks probably. So talking about Mo Salah's captaincy, he actually scored late into that Wolves game, which saved us a little bit because he ended on 22 points. So 11 points versus kind of a 15 pointer, a 4 points difference there. Not the end of the world, and especially in that first half against Everton, I was really worried that Saka would go on a massive haul. Unfortunately, Darwin missed the first game but played the second game. Did have his chances, could have got 1 or 2 attacking returns, as he did create and missed a lot of big chances. So we'll have to take those 2 points at the end of the day, and I'm looking to take him out of my team because he's not the most reliable FPL asset. So guys, take a look at this team. I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to screenshot this team in my mind because with the wildcard, we're going to change basically every single player. So thank you gents for doing the best for my FPL team. Wasn't enough in Game Week 25, but I wish you guys all the best for your future FPL transfers in. Now before we go on to the actual wildcard draft, I want to give you guys some context about my current team for the actual Game Week 26. So this is before any transfers were made, any kind of wildcards were activated. I thought this might be useful for those of you out there that might have a different team to me, but 1 or 2 options are similar, and I'll talk through why I'm actually wildcarding. So starting off on our bench, we've got Danny Ward against Southampton. I'll talk about Kepa right now because those 2 players, you guys can kind of play either of them. Southampton losing in the FA Cup, they're not too great. Leeds losing in the FA Cup, but I guess it was against Fulham. But both had pretty good fixtures. Mykolenko against Nottingham Forest, that's a fine game to play him in if you guys had to, but Trippier against Man City is avoidable, and so is Greenwood. So going on to our back line, I've got Ben White against Bournemouth. That's a fine fixture. I expect Ben White to play that one. We've got Ake against Newcastle though, which I don't expect him to play. Then we have Tarkowski against Nottingham Forest, but that Everton defense is a little bit of a shambles. Moving into our midfield department, I got Odegaard and Saka on left and right hand side. They have a lovely fixture against Bournemouth, so no complaints there. I'll probably include them on my wildcard drafts anyways. Same with Rashford against Liverpool away, great fixture. Mo Salah against United though, might avoid him to be honest. Even though yes, he did score, Liverpool don't look at their best. And then finally we have Mahrez, who's been an absolute troll, scored in the first game week that we brought him in, but since then has done the bare minimum. Now you guys will notice the captaincy on Saka, but I'll talk about that a little bit later on when I show you guys my wildcard team. Then moving into the forward department, Erling Haaland, he's not going to go anywhere in my squad at the current moment. We'll talk about transferring him out in the future though, at a later stage. And then Darwin Núñez against United, which I think is going to be a tough game. So at first inspection, the team doesn't look as bad that would probably justify using the wildcard, but when you dig a little bit deeper here, Nathan Ake, Mahrez, both of these two options are rotation risks. We have Ben White over maybe a Gabriel, that's a little bit more certain. We still have Mo Salah, Darwin Núñez, now Liverpool blank in 28, and that Everton defense is a shambles and I own 2 of their assets. So I do think we are borderline on the wildcard, but if you guys had the exact same team and you had someone like a Kane, maybe a Brighton defender, or some Brentford options, then I think you could justify leaving the wildcard till next week or the week after. But as mentioned, I'm on the chip and I'll explain why right now. So going on to the transfer plan in inverted commas, this is basically going to be the justification as to why I am wildcarding, my future plans for the transfers, and then finally my wildcard team. So what I want to talk to you guys about, as I do with any draft, let's talk about the fixtures. I'm going to bring up Ben Crellin's transfer planner from Game Week 26 to Game Week 34. Now the reason I am wildcarding in Game Week 26 is that I do think it takes advantage of the next doubles and it still allows you to take advantage of the blank Game Week 28 without using a chip. The reason for that is obviously Brentford have the fixture against Leicester in Game Week 28 and you're going to have a triple up of those Brentford assets anyways because they double in 27. With Brighton, you can simply bench them. They have 2 doubles in 3 game weeks. And then you can still load up on nice assets like United, who have a nice double as well. But I think the biggest thing for me and the reason why this kind of edged me towards wildcarding in Game Week 26, now I will say if you guys want to wildcard 27, it's literally the exact same thing. You just get 1 extra free transfer going to blank Game Week 28. But if your team looks fine for this game week, I'd probably hold off on it as we will get information about those Brighton mids, as well as Ivan Toney's ban. But the big reason why I did want to actually use the wildcard this week is because you don't have to use a free hit in Game Week 28. That was kind of the big debate about actually wildcarding pre-Game Week 28, was whether you had to use a chip or not. But now because of that Brentford game, we can avoid the free hit, use it somewhere else in the season, and right now that looks like Game Week 32. Now I want to talk about another chip as well because it's going to be the bench boost, and the reason why the bench boost in 29 looks so good is that now that the FA Cup games have been confirmed, we've had some draws here, it looks like maybe 2 or 3 blanks in Game Week 32, so the doubles in 34 and 37 aren't going to be that significant. So yes, on a bench boost you guys can do it with single game week plays, but I do think on a double game week that's more valuable. So currently my chip strategy is going to be wildcard 26, bench boost 29, and then free hit in Game Week 32. Now why 32 versus 34 or 37 you ask? Well, there are a couple of teams that actually blank in 32, namely Man City, United and potentially Brighton. So on my Game Week 29 team, I'm probably going to have a triple up of Brighton. They have a potential to double even in Game Week 30 or Game Week 31. So therefore I want to keep hold of those assets. I'll probably also have a triple up of those United assets, Bruno Fernandes, Rashford and Luke Shaw, and they also blank in 32 potentially. So what Game Week 32 allows me to do is transfer my Arsenal assets out for United assets, an Odegaard to a Fernandes, a Gabriel to maybe a Luke Shaw, and then on my free hit in 32 I can bring those Arsenal assets back in before they play Man City and Chelsea, where I don't want them anyways. So Game Week 32 for me looks like the perfect free hit scenario. You can triple up on Liverpool again because they have a nice fixture, triple up on Arsenal, get those assets back in your team, and avoid the United Brighton blanks. So I just think that's a perfect strategy right now at the current moment, but you guys can disagree with me in the comments down below if you want to. Now I just want to reiterate this once again. I always say the wildcard is a super situational chip, and therefore if your team doesn't need it or you prefer wildcard in Game Week 33, you can even wildcard in Game Week 28 if you want. That's 100% fine. But for my own team, I think I needed it and I want to take advantage of the Game Week 27 doubles as I don't own any Brentford or Brighton players right now. So to kind of summarize this talking point, I know I usually go over this quite quickly, so let's kind of slow it down for a moment. I want a wildcard in Game Week 26 because I do believe it takes advantage of the upcoming doubles and the blanks, and because you don't have the free hit in blank Game Week 28, that's a massive advantage in my opinion. The free hit will therefore be used in Game Week 32 to avoid the Brighton and United blanks, and in Game Week 29 I probably will sell my Arsenal assets to those United assets as well. So the bench boost in 29 looks strong, the wildcard in 26 looks strong, and the free hit in 32 looks strong. Let's just hope it all goes to plan. So now going on to what you guys have all been waiting for, my wildcard draft for the upcoming game week. I'm going to do it in normal draft standards. I'm going to be going over the entire starting 15, go over their price points, and then I'll be going over the actual team selection. Now at the end of the video, I'll be going over the future game weeks to show you guys my future transfer plans, so make sure that you guys stick till the end. So starting off on our goalkeeper combination, I've gone for a little bit of a weird one here. I haven't really seen many people go for this, but I've gone for Sanchez and Kepa. Now the reason I've gone for Sanchez will make a little bit more sense when I talk about blank game week 28, so you might have to hold off on this logic for now. But to give you guys a short summary, with Sanchez and Kepa, Sanchez obviously blanks in game week 28, Kepa has a fixture, and because that means only one of my goalkeepers does have a fixture, I can get another blank game week play in my starting 11. But I'll explain this a little bit later on with visuals, as it's a little bit hard to explain right now, but another added bonus of Sanchez is the fact that Brighton have a ton of fixtures coming up. If they do progress in the FA Cup, there might be some rotation for that main team, and with the Stupinan currently injured, I think that Sanchez is a safe option to go for. But I understand Raya, definitely the best keeper to get at the moment, but for my own team, I think this is a little bit more optimal. Now moving into our back line, and I'm going to be going over the double ups right now because we have Trippier and we do have Fabian Schär. So Schär's an interesting one. You guys can always downgrade him to Botman if you want some more money in the bank, but I do like the fact that Schär's so attacking. Now with Trippier and Schär, yes, they do have Man City in the next game week, but they do have a lovely fixture in blank game week 28. Now the Newcastle defense has slightly been regressing. The defense isn't as solid as it has been this season, so let's hope they get back on the good side of things. Now my second most expensive defender will be Gabriel. You guys can go for Zinchenko if you want to. I just prefer Gabriel, offers that attacking threat off those set pieces, but it's the fact that he is more nailed as these fixtures get more congested. So in my opinion, the best Arsenal defender to get, and on a wildcard, I'm going to do that. Now my last two defenders, you guys might be asking me, where is the Brentford defense? Well, I've actually doubled up on Henry and Pinnock as the kind of fullbacks from Brentford. Now Brentford do change their style, apparently away from home or against the better sides. They are playing a 5 at the back, and that makes Henry super attacking. But when they do play a 4 at the back, Pinnock's the better option to get. His stats look better, but why choose one of them when you can get both? Now I've kind of compensated here for not going for Raya in goal. For example, you guys could go for Raya in goal and then go for Stupinan instead of either Henry or Pinnock. But as I said, I'll explain this a little bit later on in terms of blank game week 28. But now moving on to midfield department, and there's no premium kind of mid of choice. However, Saka is getting the points of a premium, and Odegaard's also not doing too badly. So yes, I will be doubling up on these Arsenal midfielders, have great fixtures up until blank game week 28. Come game week 29 though, I probably will take Odegaard out for Fernandes. Now I just think that you guys have to go for at least one Arsenal attacker. It's probably going to be Saka, but I do like Odegaard, but you guys could also go for Martinelli. I know it sounds a little bit weird there, but Martinelli, yes, he's come back in the swing of things after scoring a few goals, and it seems like Nketiah might be the player to drop out for Trossard. Next up is a no-brainer, Marcus Rashford, great form at the current moment. Man United are playing insane, and at his price point, super good value for money. Now the last two midfielders are probably quite predictable. It's the two Brighton mids. Now out of the three, McAllister, Matoma and March, who have I gone for? I've actually gone for McAllister and March, as I do prefer these two. Now yes, Matoma's a great shot, but I just believe that you have to go for McAllister. He's nailed, he's on penalties, free kicks. So then it comes down to March versus Matoma. So in terms of the stats, March is slightly better than Matoma, but I do know that March is kind of an underperformer, whereas Matoma is an overperformer. So to be honest, it's a real 50-50. But right now March might be injured, so that might sway my eyes to Matoma, but currently I'm on these two assets. But one strategy you guys could go for, instead of double M, you go for triple M and go for all Brighton mids. Now finally going to our forward line, and the most expensive forward in the game is still going to be in our team. It's going to be Erling Haaland, as I still do like his fixtures coming up. Now we'll be talking about, will I transfer him out come blank game week 28? Spoiler alert right now, I'm leaning towards it, so don't roast me in the comments too much though. Now last night, if you guys didn't know, Spurs actually lost their FA Cup fixture, so now they have a fixture against Southampton in blank game week 28, so that looks pretty strong. Now I'm going to bring in my last forward because I want to show you guys the other rotation pairs. It's going to be Ivan Toney. I think if you guys are going to choose another forward besides Kane and Haaland, it's got to be Ivan Toney, as is the double game week coming up. Now the reason I wanted to bring Ivan Toney in here is I want to show you guys that I actually upgraded Ollie Watkins to Harry Kane. I do still like Ollie Watkins though, so if you guys do want to go from 100%, the obvious advantage there is the double game week 29 fixtures, but Harry Kane still has some nice fixtures coming up. So as you guys can see, it's going to be my kind of wildcard draft as an entire starting 15. I know what you're probably thinking, the benching headaches are going to be massive. I can agree with you. It's a little bit unfortunate that we can't use the bench boost every single game week because we do actually need it. Now there are some variations that you guys could go for. This does have 3.5 million left in the bank. I was looking at a Reece James, but I couldn't fit him in, and I was slightly worried about his rotation. In terms of blank game week 28, I need options that are guaranteed to start, and fortunately Reece James, I can't guarantee that. Otherwise, as mentioned, Ollie Watkins in that forward department is a viable substitute if you don't want to go for Harry Kane. But let me know what you guys are dealing with in the comments down below. Let me know those wildcard drafts. Is there an option I'm missing? Is there an option that's underrated? You guys can let me know all your thoughts. But now quickly going over the upcoming team selection for Game Week 26. Mentioned before, but the benching headaches are off the charts, and that's why I want to show you guys my thinking behind the bench. So let's go onto the bench right now. So between my goalkeepers, Kepa has Leeds at home, Sanchez has West Ham at home. Both home games, but I do prefer Kepa right now. This is a super tough one though. I think that the projected points might be on the side of Sanchez, but I just think Kepa might get more saves, and Leeds' attack has been pretty bad. I'll also be benching Solly March because I don't exactly know his fitness concerns right now. And then I've got Fabian Schär and Trippier against Man City away. So I do actually like the Newcastle defenders because they make this benching dilemma a little bit easier with that Man City away game. But now going on to our backline, I'm going to start off with Gabriel against Bournemouth at home. Great game on paper. You guys would have seen in the Ultimate Guide, Bournemouth's attack this season is pretty bad, and also the defense has been pretty solid. So let's hope for maybe an attacking return as well, because Gabriel hasn't got one in a while, and I'd love it if it's the first game week I bring him in. Then moving on to the next two, it's going to be a double up of Henry and Pinnock against Fulham at home. Now this is a tougher game on paper, and the reason why I might actually want some rotation, because Fulham are playing really well at the moment. If Mitrovic is going to be fit again, I think this is a little bit of a worry for a double clean sheet, but I guess they still offer some attacking threat. Now, this is the only downside about going for kind of two of the Brentford defenders, but I'm pretty sure if you guys were going for Raya, you might have been benching him or starting him and have the double up anyways. Moving into midfield department, no brainers here. Odegaard and Saka. Bournemouth at home is a plump fixture. Might even be the best fixture in this game week. We have Marcus Rashford against Liverpool away. I'm dreading this game. I think United are playing super well at the moment. As you guys would have seen against Wolves, Liverpool aren't on their top form. And playing against Marcus Rashford, I'm expecting him to score a couple. Hopefully McAllister can also score a couple. West Ham at home, great fixture on paper. Between him and Solly March, it's a real 50-50. I'm just going for the more nailed option. Then finally in our forward department, Erling Haaland has Newcastle at home. First game of the kickoff. Are we going to captain the early kickoff? You guys know that you never should, but I'll talk about that shortly. Then Ivan Toney against Fulham at home. Great fixture on paper. Fulham stats from a defensive point of view aren't that great. And let's hope that Ivan Toney ends the season with a bang before he gets that ban. Then finally Harry Kane against Wolves away. Good fixture on paper here. Spurs aren't playing the best at the moment, but I still think Harry Kane is ticking along nicely. So in terms of the Game Week 26 team, you would expect it to look pretty strong. Not as strong as I probably would have liked it to be. I don't think Brentford have the best game on paper. Neither do Brighton, but you're getting them in preparation for double Game Week 27 anyways. Now the final talking point I want to go over before we talk about the future game weeks is going to be all about captaincy. And right now I have the captaincy action on the Arsenal man, Saka. So I think he will be more differential than Erling Haaland will, but with the early kickoff, I'm not superstitious, but I just think that Saka is the better fixture. And you guys know me, I'm a fixture FPL manager. But this captaincy might change depending on how I'm feeling. Maybe I think the wildcard is too differential, therefore I want to go safe. But to be honest, I think Saka scores more points this game week. Let me know in the comments down below, who's your captain going into the upcoming game week? Is it Saka, is it Rashford, is it Haaland, or is it someone I'm not even considering? Now for the last talking point, I'm going to give a shout out to Fantasy Football Fix and their FPL Chrome extension. I mentioned this over on Twitter yesterday, but you guys have no excuse not to get this Chrome extension if you guys do plan your moves on a PC or a laptop. Now they are looking to extend to other browsers, but right now they only have it on Chrome. So the reason this extension is so nice is you guys can simply install it. It's completely free till the end of the season, so you guys can access it without even a Fix account. And it loads straight into your FPL website and gives you another planning tab. So I don't know about you guys, but I hate going onto another FPL website to simply plan my transfers. It's a different UI, all that jazz. And that's why Fix has come in clutch and actually done it in your FPL website. So for example, let's go over my Game Week 27 team. You guys can see it's the exact same graphics as you usually would have. And you guys can make multiple drafts as well. So you guys will see I've kind of rearranged my site to Game Week 27. Haven't changed the CAMC, don't look at CAMC for the next couple slides, as I'll decide that closer to the time. But in terms of Game Week 27, it's a mental game week for our bench. We've got Odegaard and Gabriel against Fulham away. I don't really want to do that, but I don't exactly want to bench boost this game week. But this is probably the toughest game in terms of benching dilemmas. But the power of the wildcard really comes through in double Game Week 27. We have Henry, we have Pinnock, we have Sanchez in the backline, then we have the double up in the Brighton midfield, and finally Ivan Toney. So the 6 double game week options really look quite strong. But now heading on to blank game week 28, and I want to give you the justification of going for Sanchez over Raya. So right now you guys will see if I did go for Kepa and Raya, I would have one option on my bench with a fixture, but because I went for Henry and Pinnock, I have a back 5. So if I did have Raya on my bench, I would therefore only have 9 options in my starting 11, and that's why I do prefer going for the 2 outfielders over Raya and goal. Now I do have 2 free transfers this week, so I would have to use 1 free transfer. I don't want to pencil it in right now because I think people would go a little bit insane, but I do want to actually take out Haaland for Ollie Watkins. So Ollie Watkins has the Bournemouth at home fixture in this game week, then has the double in 29, whereas Haaland has Liverpool only in 29 as well. So Ollie Watkins has 3 games over Haaland with only 1 fixture, so I think I might hedge my bets and actually go for the Aston Villa striker. Otherwise, what I could do if I want to keep Erling Haaland, I could just take a punt on maybe an Odegaard out. Just remember, I have to use a free transfer this week, so I might as well take a 1-week punt. But as you guys can see, currently 10 options with 1 free transfer in the bank, so we can get a full starting 11 if we do go for Sanchez. Then moving on to the big game week, double game week 29 with the bench boost activated. You guys will see with that kind of a blue outline of the bench, that's going to be the bench boost activated. And going to this game week, we'll have 2 free transfers. Now, I've already planned those transfers in. It's Odegaard to Fernandes, and it's going to be Gabriel to Shaw. And the reason for that is we explained that earlier on. We will use the free at 32, so we'll get them back anyways. And then Arsenal have tough games after that as well. So the bench boost will be of the 3 single game week options for this week. It's Saka, Haaland, Kane, and then finally Kepa with that double. It's not the worst bench boost in the world, to be honest. The 2 most expensive strikers in the game. Let's just hope they do perform. Now, one thing added, if I do make the Ollie Watkins transfer, he would probably be on my bench, and therefore we'll have another double game week bencher. But let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below about my transfer plan. Are you guys also taking Haaland out come blank game week 28? If you're on the wildcard, let me know those drafts, let me know those transfer plans. If you guys have some dilemmas, comment them down below. I'll try and help you solve them. Otherwise, comment them on my Discord server where I am slightly more active. Otherwise, hopefully I'll see you guys in a deadline stream coming up on Saturday. We will be confirming our wildcard, but right now it looks pretty locked in. But that's basically everything, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Please don't like if you didn't subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. I'll see you guys on Saturday for the deadline stream. But I'm going to sign off. Dayvy FPL and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.